Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
I'm Ricky.
And today we're going to be talking about episode 104, Collision of NBC's show Heroes. Fun fact, it was originally titled Come Together. After the Beatles song, yes.
Got a synopsis of the episode if you want me to start off with that.
Yep.
Matt awakens to find himself face to face with Mr. Bennett and a mysterious man from the bar. Claire recovers from her autopsy and returns to school, where a discovery about Brody prompts her to seek revenge. Nikki works out an arrangement with Lindemann, but as she gets cold feet, her alter ego takes over. Hero and Ando explore Las Vegas but are sidetracked from their mission. Mohinder tries to warn Nathan, then has an unexpected visitor. Isaac's paintings begin to show a pending threat targeting his fellow evolved humans. When time grinds to a halt, Peter receives a surprise visitor.
Yeah, that's a good synopsis. So we start out this episode, basically we see Matt Parkman as a prisoner of Mr. Bennett and the mysterious man who we will come to know as the Haitian. I don't know how everybody just knows he's a Haitian, but whatever.
I know. Also, something that, like, looking back on it now, like, there was such a big thing about Noah Bennett's or HRG's, like, first name, like, no one knew it. And it kind of like was something that they built up to. You know, they always had those little parts in future episodes where or someone was about to say his name and they kind of stopped him. And it wasn't until it wasn't that big a reveal. It felt like a big reveal at the time. Looking back on it, you know, his name's Noah. But it was the same with the Haitian. But I always was like, well, what's the Haitian's name? Why do they just call him the Haitian? Like, he's obviously got a first name. And it's just something that's thrown away, I think, like season 4.
Yeah.
I just felt like there should have been a bit more hype because, you know, he was Mr. Bennett's second in command essentially for most of the season, when he's at Primatech anyway. So yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up, but yeah, we'll carry on now.
But they never really, to me anyway, they never really explained the Haitian's powers because they didn't know he could talk. Like, they still don't know he can talk at this point.
Oh yeah.
And so it's they really didn't quite know. But yet he can take memories out, but yet he makes people's powers not work too. Like, they never really quite explained all that.
I always thought of it as his powers were to do with mental manipulation, and so he could switch off that part of your brain that makes you use your powers. And so basically his power was to do anything with the brain, or, you know, kind of with your memory and your mind. So he could kind of, you know, affect your memory. He could take out pieces of your memory. He could, I'm assuming at one point he would probably be able to give you plant false memories, but he could also you know, just block that part of your brain which used your powers, which Sylar loves so much. So yeah.
It's just weird because they sometimes they have a habit in Heroes where they over explain the simple stuff and then they just kind of get murky and gray, and the actually complicated stuff, like the stuff with Sylar and you know, intuitive aptitude. Okay, whatever. But anyway, so we see he's a prisoner and you know, he goes, "Who's Claire? Is that the cheerleader?" And then he's like, clean him out."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "This is gonna hurt." So we cut to Hero and Ando as they arrive in Las Vegas, and he's helping him with the warning message for Isaac, which never works. You're tinkering with the future and the past technically, so it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
Poor schmucks. So then, like, they're in the casino, and then they pass by, like, in the car, and they pass by Nikki Sanders and Micah, who are on their way to meet Mr. Linderman, of course. And they meet one of his associates, and then, Micah's kind of in the other room, and he's like, you're gonna basically sexually blackmail a politician for insurance? And, the politician just happens to be one Nathan Petrelli, or as Hero would say, Flying Man!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, I love Hero, man. So then we cut to Claire's body. Finally, we get back to that, that big WTF moment. She's lying on the autopsy table in the corner and has literally just done the V incision, and she just ripped it open.
Yeah.
And she's talking about what happened to her. She was found naked? Like, oh, wow. I mean, obviously, because of her uniform, would have more easily identified her. Yes, Brody's a douchebag. Poor Matt Lautner. Just he's got to be a douchebag, man. But anyway, so Claire heals up, and they pull the stick out of her head, which is one of the clues that we'll need later.
Yep.
And so she steals a lab coat and gets the hell out of there.
Well, obviously, after there's a great, well-timed phone call for her to heal herself and get out. But yes.
Of course, because it's TV.
Yeah.
Then we get a quick montage of Isaac in his sketchbooks, and then we see one. I don't think it was really clear that it was Simone and Peter under the umbrella, unless you know what I mean. Because he drew it months ago and he didn't know what it meant. So we see it and it's like, oh. And then we see Peter waking up next to Simone, like, oh yeah.
I'm guessing all you have to do is tell a girl you've loved her from the first moment you laid eyes on her, and jobs are good, and as they say over here.
Wow, is that all it takes? She must have really done a number on her. Dealing with a drug addict must be hard.
Yep.
And then we also in that kind of that montage with that great song playing over it. Here on Ando at the casino, and then we see Claire sneaking into her house.
Yeah.
So after that little montage, we see Mohinder, like a crazy man trying to talk to Nathan. This is great. And he's like, your life is in danger. And,
Yes.
He's like, keep that nutbag away from me.
He does nothing to help his cause, yeah.
Wait, isn't one of his bodyguards Diggle's brother from Arrow?
Yes. He's also from Bones.
Yeah.
He's one of the stones from Bones, yes.
Yep.
Whatever, yeah. But yeah, it's him. I'm sure, for some reason, I vaguely think he was one of the Power Rangers as well. I think he was like one of, maybe I'm wrong. I might have to do a quick look, but I'm sure he was like second gen Power Ranger. Like he was the guy who came after the original.
There were so many Power Ranger seasons.
Well, I know it's him because I knew I knew him from somewhere before all of this. But yeah, carry on. I'm searching now.
Because we just got that reveal from the return for Arrow, and I was like, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
And then, so Nathan's on his way to Las Vegas to meet with Linderman and Nikki, or maybe Jessica. He does a little bit of both.
No, he doesn't know that yet, but yeah.
And then we see Peter and Simone get interrupted. Their little post-coitus moment gets interrupted because Nathan shows up to argue.
Yep, awkward.
Yikes.
It's just that awkward next day. Yeah.
Bad enough she's like in his shirt looking for coffee, and she's got this angry dude that she kind of sort of knows. So then after that, Simone leaves to talk to Isaac. And then we see Claire kind of says that she was out with Brody. She kind of lies about that whole thing to get her father off her back, and then she kind of gets goofy. Of course, she's been through traumatic experience.
It was. I actually felt like I felt sorry for her in that moment. She may not be my favorite character in the whole show, but that little scene was quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, of course, Eden drops by Mohinder's apartment and, gives him the package with his father's ashes.
Yeah. And then Peter arrives, does he not? Or is that another time? Sorry, carry on.
No, everybody has really bad timing on this show.
Yep. Either really bad timing or really good timing, depending on whether it's a phone call or just whether someone's just received their father's ashes.
So, like, he's kind of finally worked out what he can do, that he can copy other people's powers.
Yeah.
Which we kind of figured too, so it's good for confirmation.
Oh no, I don't think I figured that out. I was like, oh no, he can fly. I thought he could fly, and then I didn't like the painting kind of thing. Never really. Well, it wasn't until the painting thing. Was that this episode or the last one? Either way, I never really figured out his powers until this specific moment where he says, "I think I'm kind of like a sponge." But yeah.
Well, and then dude, we don't even really get the whole thing about the dreams that he kind of mentioned earlier until very, very later on. So it was just like he has all these powers, so it's weird. It's like I know he's the protagonist, but this seems a little overpowered. Anyway, then we kind of cut back to the casino, and poor Ando. He's gambled away all their money except for $1, and he gets the genius idea for Hero to kind of use his powers.
Yeah. I liked his reasonings for why he would do it, like the whole I think there's the Peter Parker theory that he uses, which basically is the thing that
Peter Parker takes he sells his selfies.
Yes. Yes. I really like that.
I always said that. I'm like, dude, and you can't figure out it's Peter Parker? Who gets this close to Spider-Man?
But I also liked when he uses his powers to stop time. He also he knows, it kind of feels like he knows he's doing a bad thing, so he kind of offsets it by trying to help this woman who's got her drink spilling, putting it back. It's like, okay, so in his mind that's a fair balance. I'm cheating to win a lot of money, but this woman's not going to lose her tip because the drink won't be spilled.
Oh, Hero, you gotta love that little guy.
All right.
Then we see Nikki prepare for her quote-unquote job. She's discussing her blackouts with that one old retired stripper.
Oh, it's Texas Tina. Yeah. Texas. I think that's what I call. I think that's what she's unofficially called. But yeah, Texas Tina. Yeah.
And then that's when Micah kind of says he knows about her webcam job, and he also knows that she's got a little split personality.
It's because Micah knows everything, man. That boy is a genius.
Come to find out that he's a, what do they call it?
A technopath.
Yeah, there we go. So that kind of makes sense. Like he's scanning through the airwaves and stuff. And he's like, "Is that my mom? Oh no!" Right. So then we kind of go back to Mohinder, thank God, and he's kind of talking to Peter, and Mohinder and Peter are talking, and they're talking about his father. And he's like, well, I also have some empathic ability too. And I'm just like, dude. Yeah.
Emo. Sorry.
What else happens? Simone goes to Isaac's with that key. Man, now that I think about it, they laid on so many clues so heavily. So heavily. It's so heavy-handed. And she's like trying to...
Oh, so we've got... Yeah. Oh, man. The show.
Yeah. Then he kind of confronts her about that painting. It's like, what did you do? Does this look familiar? Are you spying on me? Because yes, Isaac is a little bit creepy.
Yeah, and it is honestly the first thing you would say. You wouldn't be like, did you draw this months ago? Because while you were high on drugs. Like, yeah. It's the natural conclusion that she could come to.
Oh my God, that was just really awkward. And she's like, he asked for advance to buy painting supplies, aka heroin.
Yeah, and she knew it. Oh man,
that's a new one.
Yeah.
So he's really convinced that he drew the future and he needs to find a way to stop this nuclear explosion. Simone's not having it; she leaves, but then he just kind of says he's going to be a hero. And searches out his painting supplies.
Yeah, he'll find it somehow.
Back in Odessa, Zach, which is the best thing about Claire at this point,
Yeah.
says, hey, what happened? And she's like, I'm just going to ignore it because, she doesn't have a scratch on her, obviously. Yeah. So then Claire makes up that stupid, I had too much to drink. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Lori, like the girl that we saw at the bonfire going, you shouldn't go with him. That's not a good idea. Yeah. She kind of tells Claire what happened. And so Claire's like, it's all my Donkey Kong. I got something for this guy.
Yeah.
Again, back at the casino, Hero is just straight up just like, he is just all in with the cheating for just good.
Yeah. He's just got that one. He's done it once and now he's committed. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it now, and he's just not making it obvious at all. Some of the things that he does is like is this the bit where he takes the cards off Cowboy and gives the exact same cards, like just swaps the cards out for
that's the bit.
Andos, and I'm like, dude, man, what's wrong with you? Come on, I know you're like childlike, but
Japanese people are very lucky people.
Apparently so, yeah. Or big cheaters.
And then, of course, we're in that same Linderman's casino. What's it called? I forgot.
Corinthians or something like that?
What's
Corinthians. I think it's something along those lines. I know it's a C.
Yeah, because I almost always, for the while, because it was on NBC the same time as that show, the one that Chris O'Donnell, Las Vegas, duh.
Yes.
That show, because that was a fake casino and it was on NBC, and I figured it would be kind of smart, but it wasn't the same one. But I thought that would have been kind of cool. But anyway, so yeah, Nikki goes to meet Linderman for her assignment, and she then kind of flirts with me.
Yes, it is. Sorry, it was the Corinthian, Corinthian casino. Yeah, I got it. Cool. Sorry. Carry on.
And so then here and I don't get thrown out, but the best thing about that is the montage of them coming down the escalator in their Rainman suits.
Yeah, the straight up homage, we will call it, even though it is a blatant ripoff. But yeah, I know it was great because they're essentially the same kind of story. It's someone using someone else and their quote unquote powers to win lots of money. And that's what's happened with Ando playing Tom Cruise and Hero playing Dustin Hoffman.
I honestly think Ando saw the movie and he was and Hero hadn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just makes him do this dumb thing. That was great though, definitely. Yeah. And so after that, Peter and Mohinder are outside Isaac's apartment, but they can't enter because they kind of see him through the window or whatever in that drug-induced trance. And
I don't think they even see him. I think they're just knocking.
We see him. They cut to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's in a drug-induced trance, and he's just not like, nah, I'm not doing it. He's just in the zone, as they say.
And he's painted clear. So
yeah,
of course he is. So what else happens after they get kicked out by security?
Cowboy comes up, doesn't he? Cowboy and his henchmen.
They steal Ando, and then they punch Hero out.
Ando speaks American, and it's just really weird.
He's like, my friend
has good power, has big power. He will beat you all. Yeah,
great. Then Nikki kind of is she goes up to Linderman's second in command or whatever. And she's like, I'm not going to do this. Blah, blah, blah. Then they're like, well, tell your son that you're not going to do it when he's all laid up in the hospital.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a previous bit where when Nikki and Nathan are talking and they're basically spelling out their stories. And, she's a single mom looking after a kid. He's got 2 kids. He comes straight out and says, I've got 2 kids and I'm married, happily married. And then straight away he kisses her. He makes no bones about it that he's married and he wants a good time for the night. And that's when she leaves, and that's when second in command comes, and she goes
Yeah.
full on Jessica, shall we say?
Yeah, we see this mysterious quote unquote symbol on her back. And so
Yeah.
and then we kind of learn that it's being recorded.
Yep.
Um
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Then we see finally on the subway and with not Isaac, Peter and Mohinder. And they're kind of talking
They're on their
about
way
it.
there.
And then time stops. A hero from Future Hero comes up.
Oh man.
That was great. That was so epic.
This was it. This was when I became invested in the show. This is when I stopped watching bit by bit, and I just binge watched the whole way through because I was late to the show. I think I caught up with it around about the Christmas time, so I'd watched. That
was the wrong time to catch up because that was a long break.
I know, but I just remember binge watching like about the next four, like up to from this episode till like the Christmas break in like one day, just sitting down and just like consuming them all, even better halves. But yeah, it was great. I just was invested in it from that point, seeing Future Hero and him like being able to speak American and with that soul patch and with a sword and like just straight up balling, just he's in charge. Yeah.
I did enjoy that side. I was like, I was kind of bummed that we kind of never actually really lived up to that particular.
Yeah, we never got there.
Maybe if we would have had a season.
Yeah, so yeah, we see his actual journey to that.
Anyway,
or Future Hero just comes back and takes his place.
That's what I would have done. Leave that dorky dude in the future to die.
Exactly.
Then we see Isaac kind of come down from his trip, and we see really one of the most iconic comic cells is, Clear fleeing from the shadowy figure that almost kind of looks like a big bad wolf.
Yeah.
And then
her tripping up the stairs, which in slow motion,
horror trope.
Yeah.
The blonde. I was like, oh man, you just couldn't help yourself, could you?
Yeah.
Then we see Kiro and Ando in a casino, and coming. Wait, what else happens after we see that? I forget. Oh,
I know that's Claire's getting revenge. This is I know that happens in this episode at one point.
Oh yeah,
or is that the next?
Right. This does happen after that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. Claire tricks Brody into letting her drive his car, and then after revealing that she knew what he tried to do to her, she slams into a brick wall at top speed. That was like good for her. She knows how to drive a stick.
Yeah.
I don't know if is that a common thing on the other side of the pond, like. Because most people drive automatics over here, unless it's a nice fancy car.
It's the other way around here. Most people drive sticks, and then we drive automatics. Only certain people drive automatics. But yeah, sorry, just when you said good for her, she can drive a stick. I was like, oh no, kind of good for her. She's kind of getting revenge. But yeah, we'll go with stick. Yeah.
Well, that too. But I mean, Claire could have went really dark from this point on, and I was just kind of glad. Like, I don't really want to see a teenage girl trying to be all dark and mysterious. Get it out of her system and let's move on. Then we kind of see Nikki and Nathan sleeping, and like Mr. Bennett takes Nathan. Like, who takes a politician in the public eye?
I know, right?
What?
But Noah just doesn't give a crap. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this because I'm a badass.
Basically, is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then we see that the symbol on Nikki's back is gone, so that means whatever's done is done.
Have we moved on to the second one? Have we moved on to Heroes?
No, not yet. One more thing.
Oh.
And then
okay.
Because we see a lot of that reiterated in the next one.
Yeah.
Peter then says he can, after the hero disappears, time kind of restarts, and then he tells, Mohinder what happened. Well, no. We go back to it, because he just showed up last time. So we see Hero, the future hero, And the sword has the mysterious symbol, and he says in perfect English, "My name is Hiro Nakamura, and I'm from the future. I have a message for you." And that's where we cut. And you get chills.
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh man, so good. It was just like leading up to that. There's the lead up to it. It's just because it's obviously like the title's collision because obviously, you know, Claire does what she does, but it's also a collision of like the worlds, like the past and the, well, not the past, the future and the present kind of colliding. And this is where everything kind of starts to push forward and you have like your basic message. Well, from this and the next is where you get your basic message of where the show's going to go. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. I also really loved the narration at the opening. Because
Okay.
it's like, you know, it's like some questions are more powerful than answers. Like that whole
Yeah.
And we didn't actually have a closing narration. We don't have that from time to time.
Yeah. You don't need it though. Not when you got Future Hero.
No, I knew it. I'm sorry to cut you off, but in this particular episode, it is the Montecito from the show Las Vegas, and then they changed it to Corinthians. I knew it was this episode.
Fair enough.
I figured they weren't gonna waste that set. And then the ratings, this one had it was actually down from, well, no, the ratings grow up from here for quite a while, but this is at a 13,007,000, like 13,007,000 viewers were watching.
Yeah.
So that was probably still roughly in the like the eights. Like I remember people used to watch TV back in 2006.
No, right?
They did. Like any show that's not on CBS would die for an 8 at this point. So yeah, those are my two little things that I know about this particular episode.
What have I got? All I've got is what we've already talked about. Got the Rainman homage, the name of the hotel. Yeah.
Oh, also, the director started beaming. Episode 4 Come Together, the director's blog. Like it's kind of boring.
Okay.
I watched it back in the day because I was obsessed with this show. Like when I'm obsessed, I go all in. I'm talking books. Which, by the way, I realized that I had never, like, I have the book, Saving Charlie, and I never read it because the reviews were horrible for it. But I'm gonna read it this week, and I'm gonna let you guys know what I think. You know the book I'm talking about?
Yeah. I think I had it. I read it, and then I think I sold it on. But yeah, I don't really remember that book at all.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I still have it. Okay, so I'm gonna read it then. The graphic novel for this week was
Aftermath. Yeah.
It's about the car crash. What happens? They show it. Like she goes through the windshield and she gets up to walk away, and then it's just basically why she did what she did, and right after what happens in the car crash. Basically, it's a whole 6 pages.
Yeah, I think it's the bits in between the car crash and them going to hospital, or at least, you know, it's, yeah.
Well, and then Brody kind of, at the end of it, I think the very last cell is when Brody wakes up, like, a little bit, and he sees that she's perfectly fine, and he goes, "What are you?"
Yeah.
Which reminds me of True Blood, not a good way. The story was by Joe Pekaski, and the art was by Micah Gunnell, and the digital inks were by Mark Roslin. Fire in a comic book, unless it's Firestorm, not my favorite thing. It's kind of hard to do without looking cheesy, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's the first graphic novel to only involve the children characters. And then Soma is also, like, it appears on graffiti in the wall. It shows up a lot.
That's a Micah Gunnell thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What would you give the rating of the episode?
This one's a B+.
I'm gonna have to go straight up A-, like, just straight up A-. It's not like the best, but this is like, just watching it back, this is where I was invested in Heroes, and this episode is the reason why. So I have to give it a high mark. No matter the rest of the content, that end bit is just an iconic moment for me in terms of TV and, well, just the show, not TV in general. But yeah, how comes the B?
I mean, that's a a really good grade for me. I very rarely give things A's. Like even The Flash, like after episode 5,
Yeah.
kind of slipped away from the A range. So I guess I'm just a tough grader because I've been watching TV so much and I've been writing about TV so much that it's just like, I mean, it's a retrospect thing too. It's like, well, there's better episodes that I can give an A. So.
Cool.
So yeah. Let's hit them up with some shameless plugs and self promotion.
Sweet. You can find us on Facebook at Facebook. Oh, just search Primatech Files and you'll find us. It's a work in progress at the moment, but give us a like because that would be nice. You can find us on Twitter at Primatech Files. And you can email us your thoughts, any questions at primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can follow me at Ricky J Diaz, RICKYJDIAZ, or Z if you are American, for general TV thoughts. And I have loads of other accounts which are on there, but that's the main one, so you can find the rest of them from there. How about you, Lilith?
Well, you know me. You can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. You can find me tumbling on Tumblr at lilithfairyhellfire.tumblr.com. And please come out if you are a comic book nerd or a pop culture junkie to littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. It's something for everybody, but like I said, it's mostly a focus on comic books, but tons of book reviews for high fantasy and stuff like that. So just come out, read it, and comment and share. Now, if you want to save the world, all you got to do is download this podcast.